William Morrow and HarperAudio present The Burden, a novel, by Agatha Christie, writing as Mary Westmacott, performed by Gillian Kerrod.
Prologue. The church was cold. It was October, too early for the heating to be on. Outside, the sun gave a watery promise of warmth and good cheer, but here, within the chill grey stone, there was only dampness and a sure foreknowledge of winter. Laura stood between Nanny, resplendent in crackling collars and cuffs, and Mr. Henson, the curate. The vicar was in bed with mild influenza. Mr. Henson was young and thin, with an Adam's apple and a high nasal voice. Mrs. Franklin, looking frail and attractive, leant on her husband's arm. He himself stood upright and grave. The birth of his second daughter had not consoled him for the loss of Charles. He had wanted a son, and it seemed now, from what the doctor had said, that there would not be a son. His eyes went from Laura to the infant in Nanny's arms, gurgling happily to itself. 2 daughters. Of course, Laura was a nice child, a dear child, and as babies go, the new arrival was a splendid specimen. But a man wanted a son. Charles. Charles with his fair hair, his way of throwing back his head and laughing. Such an attractive boy. So handsome, so bright, so intelligent. Really a very unusual boy. It seemed a pity that if one of his children had to die, it hadn't been Laura. His eyes suddenly met those of his elder daughter, eyes that seemed large and tragic in her small pale face, and Franklin flushed guiltily. What had he been thinking of? Suppose the child should guess what had been in his mind. Of course, he was devoted to Laura, only she never could be Charles. Leaning against her husband, her eyes half closed, Angela Franklin was saying to herself, "My boy, my beautiful boy, my darling. I still can't believe it. Why couldn't it have been Laura?" She felt no guilt in the thought as it came to her. More ruthless and more honest than her husband, closer to primeval needs, she admitted the simple fact that her second child, a daughter, had never meant, could never mean to her what her firstborn had. Compared with Charles, Laura was an anticlimax. A quiet, disappointing child, well behaved, giving no trouble, but lacking in, what was it? Personality. She thought again. Charles. Nothing can ever make up to me for losing Charles. She felt the pressure of her husband's hand on her arm and opened her eyes. She must pay attention to the service. What a very irritating voice poor Mr. Henson had. Angela looked with half-amused indulgence at the baby in Nanny's arms. Such big, solemn words for such a tiny mite. The baby, who had been sleeping, blinked and opened her eyes. Such dazzling blue eyes. Like Charles's eyes. She made a happy gurgling noise. Angela thought, Charles's smile. A rush of mother love swept over her. Her baby, her own lovely baby. For the first time, Charles's death receded into the past. Angela met Laura's dark, sad gaze and thought with momentary curiosity, I wonder just what that child is thinking. Nanny also was conscious of Laura, standing quiet and erect beside her. Such a quiet little thing, she thought. A bit too quiet for my taste. Not natural.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?